Tabagiri Varadari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Jai Prabhupada. हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः। आनंद लीलामय विग्रहाय हेमांब दिव्य छवि सुंदराय तस्मै महाप्रेम रस प्रदाय चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna. I'll introduce his guest Sanatana Dhan Prabhu at the end so that more devotees will be able to, when they come that time, then at the end everybody will get to hear. But in short, Sanatan Dharma Prabhu is serving in Pune. He is heading there is one Kharadi center. There is like a extension preaching center. So he's heading that. It has almost 100 plus devotees who are connected to it. And in the Kharadi and Magarpata, both are the corporate areas in Pune. So there he is preaching. Very good at overall. At the end, I'll tell more about Sanatana Prabhu. We'll hear from him and then Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ. ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕೇಳಬೇಕೋ ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಷನ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂದ್ಗಡೆ ದಯಮೈಬಲ್ ದೇವ್ರು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು.
Hare Krishna. I know few words in Kannada. Beku, Beda, Bunny. Few poems also. Bagilenu teredu sevayanu kodahariye. There's some things I know in Kannada. Nice. Thank you, His Grace Swayam Prakash Prabhu, for trapping me here. Actually, I mean trapping me. I was coming to ICC Bangalore. This was planned about a couple of weeks back. And I thought I'll be sitting there somewhere. Not so comfortably. Sitting there and hearing from some senior Vaishnavas. That is what I was thinking. But you trapped me here. Hare Krishna. So this is also a service which I'll try to do on the instruction of all of you, all wonderful Vaishnavas. So ICC Bangalore. I have heard so many things about all of you. So first I would like to start with ICC Bangalore Katha before we begin the Bhagavatam Katha. So it is said that at 9 a.m. I see sea of Vaishnavas. I will see sea of wonderful Vaishnavas at 9 o'clock. I'm waiting for that time. Many Vaishnavas will come. There will be sea of Vaishnavas here in this temple hall who would be coming for the Bhagavatam class. So that is ICC Bangalore. A community of dedicated, committed, serious, sincere, enthusiastic Vaishnavas. This is what I was told about you, and today I'm seeing it in all of you. Thank you. I was also told when I was given the Bhagavatam class, I was told, be careful, Prabhuji. These devotees ask a lot of questions. They ask tricky questions, tough questions, and good questions. But inquisitiveness is a sign of intelligence. So this is a very intelligent community of Vaishnavas, and I'm very happy and privileged to be sitting here and serving all of you. So there are amidst us very learned, very senior Vaishnavas. Like there is His Grace Prakash Atma Prabhu. Hare Krishna. There is His Grace Prasadeshwar Krishna Prabhu. There's also His Grace Murli Murari Prabhu. I would like to seek their special blessings so that I can speak something for my own purification and Lord's glorification. Jai Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Sudarshan ki. Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai. So I guess this particular series started last week. There is discussion about surrender, right? Anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam rakshishyati iti vishwaso goptritve varanam data atmanikshepa karpanya shadvida sharanagati. Now this particular word, surrender, is very often used by the police force and ISKCON devotees. The police force, why? Surrender! Drop your weapons and surrender. And the convict, the criminal, he will drop the weapons and he will come like, hands up, surrender. And another place there you will be finding hands up is there. Can you see? Two people there. First time many people come, they will say, where did leg umpire and umpire come together? They're showing 6 cricket fans in India. They say they're showing like this, 2 hands up. So they are telling us about surrender. So this is a question which is often asked, that what is this surrender? You people, ISKCON people talk a lot about this surrender. What is this surrender? Practically in every class which I have attended or I've been asked to give, asked to serve, this particular question definitely comes, what is surrender? So I'm very grateful to the ISKCON South Bangalore ICC community that they are seriously thinking and discussing about this very wonderful topic of surrender. So in Hindi, They call it Sar Andar. Yes, I'm coming from a place where they talk a lot of Hindi. And to be very frank, I'm giving an English lecture, English Srimad-Bhagavatam class after a very long time. So wherever I go to class, aaj English mein, no, Hindi mein hoga pravachan. Okay. It's not that I don't love Hindi, but I love to give in English more. That's how I've been trained. The last time I gave English Srimad-Bhagavatam class was in ISKCON Chennai. And that too, I was told to speak in English, not because the audience is comfortable, because I'm not comfortable with Tamil. That is the reason I was told to speak. So I'm speaking English Srimad-Bhagavatam class practically after a long time on offline, in the sense. Online, many have happened, but offline for the first time. Yes. So I'll be using some terms of Hindi here and there. I hope you all follow Hindi. Yes, it will come because I'm accustomed to so many times speaking. So Sar Andar means surrender. That's what many of them say sometimes. So this Shadavida Sharanagati, the 6 limbs of surrender, is something we are going to be discussing for the 6 weeks. And last time we had discussed, you all were there, right? I am assuming you're all there. What was discussed? Anukulyasya Sankalpa. Accepting those things which are favorable to Krishna consciousness. Now let us discuss something about surrender first and then go ahead. If you would ask a regular person, a regular Indian, do you know Bhagavad Gita? They would proudly say, yes. We know Bhagavad Gita. What do you know about Bhagavad Gita? Karmanyavadikaraste mahaphaleshu kadachana. Uske aage? Wait 1 minute. Ma karma phala heturbur mate sangustu akarmani. Thanks to B.R. Chopra Prabhu. He started his Mahabharata serial. The serial starts with that, then Shankh blows. So everyone knows this shloka. And you ask, any other shloka you know in Bhagavad Gita? They would say, yes. Yada yada hi dharmasya ding ding glanir bhavati bharata ding ding abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanataya Sambhavami yuge yuge ding ding ding. Yes, that's how. So everyone knows this particular shloka very well. Why? Because we have been seeing it in the TV serials, etc. Now, if you were to ask an ISKCON devotee, quote something from Bhagavad Gita, the most important shloka, what would the devotees say? Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishami ma sucha. Bachcha janta hai. Even a kid in ISKCON knows this particular shloka. That's how you recognize ISKCON devotees. Tu bhi ISKCON, you also, me also. Yes, both of us ISKCON. Iske jaisa con. So we ISKCON. Because they will know this 18.66, which shloka number also they will quote. 18 chapter, 66 verse. Even if you don't know any shloka, this is one shloka everybody will know. Because everyone knows the value of the shloka, and this shloka talks about surrender. This is the very conclusion or the climax of Bhagavad Gita, which is surrender. Then what is the essence of Bhagavatam? What is Srimad-Bhagavatam? Srimad-Bhagavatam's essence, we all say this many times, that where Srimad-Bhagavad Gita ends, Srimad-Bhagavatam starts from there. So Bhagavad Gita concludes with surrender. So is there something more than surrender that is there in Bhagavatam? We may think like this. But Srimad-Bhagavatam starts explaining the process of surrender. Srimad-Bhagavatam gives the different examples of surrender. The wonderful devotees who have shown extreme example of surrender unto Krishna, that is Srimad-Bhagavatam. Yes? If you look at the 10 topics of Bhagavatam, what are the 10 topics of Bhagavatam? Atra sargo visargasya sthanam poshanamutayah manmantra ishanukata nirodhar muktir ashrayah. So ultimately we study the first 9 topics in order to reach the 10th topic. And what is the 10th topic? Ashraya, which means what? Which means surrender. So this is the very theme and substance of Bhagavatam. This mood of surrender should be brought out. Now, if you see in Hari Bhakti Vilas, this particular shloka comes. This Anukulasya Sankalpa. But if we all know His Divine Grace, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur has dedicatedly written a book on surrender, which is called as Sharanagati. So there also he mentions these 6 limbs of surrender, and under each heading of surrender, he has mentioned very wonderful bhajans. Very wonderful, beautiful bhajans for each limb of surrender. So as such, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad or Srila Sanatana Goswami may not give any particular sequence. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he gives a link to all these 6 limbs. You'd like to know the link? Yes. So he slightly differs. He slightly alters the sequence. But anyway, all acharyas are correct. It's our perspective. We are supposed to understand how they are correct. So he says that starting in the beginning, a person should read the Shastras, or rather understands one's position in this material world and exhibit Dainya Bhav. And what is Dainya? Karpanya. This is how it starts. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says it starts with humility, Dainya or Karpanya. That is the beginning. Okay. The moment one feels humble, yes, one is experiencing this Dainya Bhav. The moment one experiences that, then one will do Atma Nikshepa or self-surrender, applying oneself completely to this surrender. So that is the second limb. And then what? When you exhibit yourself completely in surrender, Goptrutve Varana, which means Krishna is my only Lord, Krishna is my only master, I don't know anybody but Krishna. That is the third step. And then, yes, Avashya Rakhibe Krishna Vishwasa Palan. That's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes. That is Rakshishyati iti Vishwasa. That is the next step. And then when you completely have this faith that Krishna is my whole and soul protector, he will protect me at all circumstances, then what happens? That is the time when a devotee becomes Bhaktir Anukulya Matra Karera Svikar. Anukulasya Sankalpa. That is the next. And what is the sixth? Pratikulasya Varjanam. So can you imagine? This, according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, is the last step, the finals. So this is the final stage. This is according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Yes. So this is the last step which one has to do. So Srila Prabhupada has given different meanings and aspects of this Pratikulasya Varjanam. We are going to see. So what is in simple sense Pratikulasya Varjanam? Rejecting those things which are detrimental to bhakti, which are harmful to bhakti, which are unfavorable to bhakti. That is called as Pratikulasya Varjanam. To give up. What does it mean in simple terms? To give up. And to be very frank, my dear devotees, giving up is something everyone is afraid of. Nobody wants to give up. My God, giving up. Many people out there, when we are doing this wonderful kirtan, they know very well that this is the real Ananda. This is the bliss. When devotees, yesterday when I was coming, devotees were going out for Harinam Sankirtan. I came in at that time. And I could see the devotees happily dancing right in the morning and going. People know that this is happiness. That's why they come out with a smartphone and they try to go Insta live, Facebook live. Why? Moments they want to show. So everyone is convinced this is happiness. But why is it that they don't want to come in? Fear of giving us Pratikulasya Varjanam. My God, that is very difficult. How many of you tasted this Mohantal sweet? Mohantal, anybody? Okay, just 2-3 of you. I think we have to feed them one day. This is a high-class ecstatic delicacy from Gujarat. So this month has been fully traveling month. And the beginning of this month, I started my traveling from Gujarat. We had gone for Dwarka, Madhavpur, Porbandar, Somnath, and Junagadh Yatra. It was a big yatra we had. So in that, Gujarat, my God, the devotees fed all of us very much. I didn't go to the weighing machine after the yatra. No, I didn't have the courage. So one of the special sweet, the ending of the yatra was with Mohantal sweet, this particular Mohantal sweet. And this sweet, the devotees were so merciful, they gave a lot. They did not just give us for eating, they gave us for the train journey. They also gave us for the passengers who are there in the train journey. And also after that, after you reach your center, give it to the Olkong. That much amount. Half of our luggage was Mohantal Prasad. So I told everyone, we have to finish this. Huh? Not like this, finish. Distribute and finish it. Otherwise, you will be finished. It's so heavy, you know. So there was one passenger who was sitting there. He was staring at me. And this is very common. This because his hairstyle is not common. His clothes are not common, so staring is very common. So that guy was staring at me continuously. Looking like this. Then I also looked at him. I gave a smile immediately. Then again he began staring. Then I smiled. They said, you are all from Hare Krishna, Hare Rama? I said, yes, we are from ISKCON. I said, what are your teachings and all that? We explained everything except giving up. And everything. And lastly, I was taking out a sweet. He said, no, please. No, warning. I said, what? Every meeting without eating is cheating. You're supposed to eat. Take this. He said, no, yeni, not this one. And I was trying to read his mind. I'm yet to develop that siddhi, but one day I'll develop maybe. So that siddhi, I was trying to connect. What is this fellow thinking in his mind? So I was wondering, maybe he's thinking, if I eat this, my hairstyle also will become like this person. These people mix something in the prasad by which hair fall rate increases. Yes, so people are very. So he was giving up is something which is very difficult for people. But let us look at this world. In this world also people give up. There was a favorite, world famous bodybuilder. I don't want to quote him in Bhagavatam class. You can ask me personally. I'll tell you later. Bodybuilder. People are all after this bodybuilding nowadays. And organic food and, counting number of steps, 2,000, 20,000 steps walking, and then counting the number of water. Yes. People are very health conscious. Yoga. So similarly, bodybuilders. We are also bodybuilders, right? Yes or no? What do you do every day 2 hours in the morning? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So we are spiritual bodybuilders. Okay, so we are also bodybuilders. We are building the right body to enter into Golok Dham. So I'm talking about this regular bodybuilders. See, he was bodybuilder for 25 years. He has reached 50, but still he has maintained his body, all abs, 8-packs, triceps. It's very hard. So there was a simple question asked. What is your secret? He gave an answer. He said, I've not watched the YouTube video. One of my students showed it. I've not done research. So he said, my favorite sweet is Kaju Katli. How many of you tasted that? ISKCON mein aane ke baad prasad khana chahiye. You should eat nice prasad. Kaju Katli, all tasted. Good. Mohantal, we have to feed. Okay. So he said, I have not touched it for the last 30 years. I have not touched this Kaju Katli. This is my favorite sweet. Although being favorite sweet, I have not even seen it. That means he gave up Kaju Katli in order to get body. So people can have such motivations. Let us look at singers. Now sweets, pakodas, puris, oily items, very static. Papad, especially in South, we call appalam. Yeah, very nice, oily. Ice creams. But the singers give it up. Why? Because they want to protect their voice. They want to prolong their wonderful voice. So they give up. Muhammad Ali. How many of you heard of this name, Muhammad Ali? Yes. He got the award of the sportsman of the millennium, Muhammad Ali. And he's a person who was actually a hardcore womanizer. This person, hardcore womanizer. But Muhammad Ali, he, before a fight, for almost 3 to 4 months, would be alone, brahmacharya. He will not even go near a woman. He will go away into some forest and train, set up a camp there and train there. So giving up something which is most dear to his heart. After the fight is again back. Jaise the, back to square one. But otherwise, when the fight is there, it's scheduled. 3-4 months before the fight, he will not. So see the kind of determination that the karmis in the material world have for name, fame, glory, because of which they are giving up things which are most dear to their heart. That is something they're giving up. So similarly, this Pratikulasya Varjanam is a principle that we have to follow if we really want to get ahead in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, these things will become leg pullers for all of us and prevent us from taking off to the Golok Dham. Right? So I will ask you a question now, interactive class. I will be asking a question, very easy question. What is it that was difficult but you gave up in order to sit here? That means become devotees. Anybody would like to share? Yes. Jai Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadras Darshan ki Jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Yes, what is it that you all gave up? It was very hard. You gave it up to be here. Yes, Prabhu. Huh? Lethargy, laziness. Thank you, Prabhu. Anyone else? Onion garlic. Sleep, lethargy, similar. Yes. Laziness. Okay. Yeah, laziness. We had to give up to come to this morning program. Otherwise, Sunday, we know that what happens on Sunday. Anybody else? Television, TV. Yes. luxurious meal of home to do the austerity of taking prasadam here. I've marked your statements, Prabhu. I will meet you after this. Thank you. Cricket. Yes, I was a big fan of cricket. Bowling, batting, batting. I gave up my bat to take the beat back. Very nice, Prabhu. Anyone else? Last, one more, last. Huh? Tea and coffee. Okay. Tea, coffee, onion, garlic. Good, good. We need to clap hands for these Vaishnavas. For two things. For giving up and for speaking it up also. Thank you. It's very hard to do that. Yes. So we've given up so many things. But to be very frank, even if Srila Prabhupada in Pratikula Varjanam, the definition Prabhupada says is Pratikula Varjanam means no intoxication, no gambling, no meat eating, no illicit sex. These are the four things that Srila Prabhupada says for in general. In general, if you hear his lectures, purports, this is what he says. So these four things, all of us sitting here given up. What is a new thing, Prabhu? So that is why I felt we should switch to the next gear and go little deep. Because let us talk about illicit sex. My God, we don't even talk about it. Rama Rama. Recently, there was one student who had joined our Gita classes, but he's a very good person, very wonderful person, golden heart. A person with golden heart, but having problem of alcohol, drinking. He took up to chanting Hare Krishna and therapy, and he used to stay in this is really magical. How can a person like him give up alcohol? He's a regular boozer at the bars. Because of boozer, he became a loser. Yes, but now he's given up all that and become a devotee. So that is also possible. Then what to speak of meat eating? Not meat eating. You give one prasadam, that austere prasad. You give that. You just give that. But there are people who have given up meat. No, no, what? I never thought that vegetarian food can be so tasty. Nahi chahiye meat. I don't want. So people give up. In one prasadam meal, I know people who have given up meat. What to speak of other things, Prabhuji? Tea, coffee, onion, garlic. Simple, put conditions. You really want to cook in our kitchen for devotees? Yes. Give up tea, coffee, onion, garlics. Done. Mataji's done. They will do it. And thus they will start cooking. And if Mataji's do it, Prabhuji's have to adjust without onion, garlic. And simple. So these all things are quite simple. But now let us, what we are going to do today in our class. Now class is going to start. This was introduction. Warming up. So what we are going to be discussing now is 5 aspects of Pratikula Varjanam. How, what we are supposed to give up and how do we get the strength to give it up. So first we will talk about loopholes that devotees find in 4 regulative principles. Interesting? Yes, we want to know that. What is that? So even after taking to Kantimala, okay, so we are following 4 regs: no eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no onion garlic, no tea, coffee. Done. But still, there is a wonderful habit that we may have. Not all of you, I'm talking for general. You're all very serious Vaishnavas. To eat sweets in their favorite shops. To eat that famous samosa that's with wonderful aloo stuffing that doesn't contain onion garlic. I checked their masalas also. It is not there. What about that Raj Kachori along with that Imli chutney? Wow, lips smacking tasty. We may have a tendency to still go there and try to at least, okay, fine, at least smell and come back. I'll just go and smell. Huh? Then I will not just smell, I'll go see. I will not see. I'll just touch. And in India, anything that you touch becomes yours. Ehi samsparshaja bhoga. Touch. And after you touch with the hand, what is the use of touching with hand? I should touch with tongue at least. Only one bite. And then I'll give my Mahamaha to someone. So there's a tendency. How about lassi? Of course, after all, milk product. What's wrong? What about ice creams? Wow, quality walls. Amul. I'm loving it. Etc. So there is a tendency that we all go to this. Actions. Eating outside. One day I was taking a program for some newcomers. And normally I take the prasadam and go. Khichdi, halwa. Yes. Very tasty, hot, hot. So I told them I'll not be able to come for the program. So today you all chant, read 15 minutes, and then you all can proceed. Read Prabhupada book and go. So all of them came, sincerely chanted. They even read the Prabhupada book. They reported to me, Prabhuji, 15 devotees came. We did chanting. Yes, we did Prabhupada book reading, perfect question, perfect answer, and took hide and seek prasad. What is this hide and seek prasad? It didn't click immediately. Hide and seek prasad means what? Okay, biscuits, cream biscuits, and biscuits. These are something we may have, some tendencies. So whatever these desires are there, we will fulfill it through within Krishna consciousness. That's very important because it said Vishaira anna khaila dushta hoyaman. Another place it said Vishaira anna khaila malina hoyaman. Because the mentality of a person who cooks definitely comes into that food. And even if it doesn't contain onion, garlic, it may be sanctioned in the scriptures, but it's not sanctified because it is not offered to Krishna. And moreover, the mentality of the person who's cooking, we never know what he has done. Yeah. We don't know. He has, he has kneaded the dough with his hands or legs. We don't know. Are you taking his Swetamrit or Charanamrit? We don't know. Yes. And that's what is going on. So please eat at your own risk if you are. Some people offer it to Krishna. Jagannath ji ko khila ke khayenge Prabhu ji. Akile nahi. We will feed the Lord and we'll also take. Baapre, my God. Prasad means what? What did Prabhupada say? Cooked by, offered by, served by. That is prasad. Yes? So no shortcuts, no loopholes. Next. Okay, all right. Previously, we were all attached to Rajinikanth, Mahesh Babu. I don't know more names. Anyways. So movies. Now we will not watch movies. We will watch billboards. We'll watch trailer for 3 minutes. Trailer. What is there? How people are in Maya we want to see, Prabhuji. What is there in Maya we want to see, Prabhuji? That tendency is there. Yeah. Or else the tendency of watching very wonderful. Okay, we will, right? We'll just watch some documentary or some harmless movies. But movies usually contain a lot of things about two things will happen. I would say many things will happen. There's a lot of sexual content which will increase your lust, a lot of violence which will increase your anger. The kind of opulence and luxury that they show increases your greed and also envy at the same time. Onida television, owner's pride, neighbor's envy. Two anarthas in one, two in one anarthas. That's how we get. So you see here that all the anarthas are mostly illusion. How illusion? You will see one patla fellow, thin guy, he beats up 20 guys. Don't try it. It's not going to work. It's really not going to work. Oh, one young boy randomly goes to a girl, I love you. And that girl, yes, I love you too. Don't try it here. You will be inside, behind the bars for you teasing. So that's why they increase your illusion also. Everything is increased. All the anarthas are increased after you watch a movie. That's what happens. If you want to increase anarthas, then go for it. And moreover, Padma Puran, you know what does Padma Puran say? The Padma Puran says that if you're thinking about a person, 1/100th of the karma of that person comes to you just by thinking about it. So you can imagine what are we inviting in our life? Yes. And then there is another tendency which is very common to watch news. To watch news. Russia, Ukraine, what is happening there? Kya chal raha hai? I know who's winning, but how much? By how much he's winning? Yes. So people have a tendency, what is happening in Pakistan? What is happening in Sri Lanka? What is happening to government? Yes, all these tendencies we want to watch. But what is this news? What people do with the newspaper? Yes. Have you seen anybody reading yesterday's newspaper? You'll call him a nutcase. You put it in dustbin, or some people put it for recycling. Raddi. Yes, we are resourceful people. We'll try to get money even from that Raddi wala. We are not going to compromise on that. We have spent money for this paper after all. Because that's the position. Yes. Nayad vachastitra pader hare visho. Jagat pravitram pragrinita karhichit. Yad vayasam tirta mushanti manasa. Nayatra hamsa niramanti ushakshaya. The Srimad-Bhagavatam says these are all places of pilgrimage for crows, crow class people. On the other hand, devotees are swan class people. And who are we? We are crows with little white feathers. At least myself, I'm talking. Yes, little white feathers are coming out. We have to become a swan. And we cannot become a swan if we are attached to this garbage. Yes, we are attached to this garbage. What else? Now, the famous craze, IPL. Yes, this sometimes score death overs, last overs, thrill, kick. But what is IPL? Itne pagal log. These many mad people. That is what is IPL. That's going on. Right? So these all indication, what does it mean? These all are indications that we are yet to develop higher taste in bhakti. Vishya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. So these are all indicators that we have not yet developed. So practically, Prabhuji, what do we do? Kya karna chahiye? What do we do that we give up this? So there's a beautiful sloka which comes in the 9th canto of Bhagavatam about Ambrish Maharaj. He says, Sa ittam bhakti yogena tapo yuktena partiva swadharmena hariprinam sarvan kaman shanair jaho. So it's not that Ambrish Maharaj was a pure soul right from the beginning. He understood what are his limitations, what are his leg pullers, what are the weaknesses. He analyzed that. He noted it down, and Sarvan Kaman Shanair Jaho. Slowly and slowly, gradually, he gave it up. Yes, this is something that we have to do. We have to have a plan and gradually give up. Reduce the frequency. It has been a big attachment. Prabhuji, Diksha ke baad bhi, even after initiation, this is an attachment. Slowly and slowly, reduce the frequency, reduce the magnitude, and come towards a pure life. That's a great hope. Yes. Okay. So now the first thing that we discussed about is the loopholes that devotees try to find. If there are some more loopholes, please after the class meet me and give me. My next presentation will be useful. Okay. Please don't do like you not share it. Like you have to share our knowledge, right? You all know much more. I don't have much exposure to outside world. So you should share with me. Sharing is caring for others. Okay, so I'll note it down. Now, giving up activities is very easy. Giving up activities is very easy. But the Shastras say what is difficult to give up? It's very difficult to give up mentalities. So the next 4 things that we are going to be discussing, that Pratikula Vivarjam, that we are supposed to do, is giving up these mentalities which are very harmful for our Krishna consciousness. Okay? So what is the first mentality that to give up? The first mentality to be given up. Personally, I call it the Ravana mentality. What mentality? So Ravana symbolized what? Ravana symbolized enjoyer, bhogi, bhokta. So that is a mentality of Ravana. This is something that one has to give up. The typical mentality of Ravana. What does Ravana do? Ravana thought this material world is what? This material world is a free shopping mall. Yes, I can take my cart, put in whatever I want, whatever at the gate they say, sir, bill, sir. Give one shot and proceed ahead. Very nice. So that's what he thought of this material world. So he went. That's what he did. He went to different parts of the world, and whichever beautiful woman he saw, he used to just take her, kidnap her, and bring her. Yes. And the greatest blunder in his life that he did was to abduct the Jagannatha, Sita Devi. So this is the typical Ravana mentality to enjoy. If you ask a devotee, what is the goal of your life? I'm shocked. There's no goal. Devotees have goal in life. What is the goal? To go back home, back to Godhead. Wondering, Prabhuji, what to say? We have many goals: to attain Krishna Prem, to become servant of the servant of the servant. Which goal you're talking about? Yes, to go back home, back to God. That's what Srila Prabhupada said. BTG, back to Godhead. Yes, so that is the goal. If you go outside and ask people, what is your goal? They'll look at you. What are you talking, sir? What is your goal? Wait a minute, my life is goal. Because I don't have any goal, big zero. So people don't have goal in life. That's a big problem. But if you see the general material tendency in this world is atyantika sukha pravritti and atyantika dukkha nivritti. That means increase one's enjoyment as far as possible and to reduce one's suffering as much as possible. These two become the prime goals of any materialistic person outside in the material world. Correct? Enjoy. Another enjoyment mentality that we see in Ramayana is what? The mentality of Sugriva. He had such a one to know. This is very practical to devotees like all of us. Ravana, Prabhu, hum Ravan dikhte hai kya? You may ask, are we Ravanas? No, we are not Ravanas. But the tendency can come. Scriptures give very graphic examples. Sugriva, what he had done? Yes, he had committed. He had committed that I will help you to find Sita. He had received the Vijay Mala from Lakshman. And he had promised, as he had given a commitment and promise that as soon as this Chaturmas 4 months end, we will all start. My entire army will embark on this mission to search for Mother Sita. And what did he do in those 4 months? Yes, he enjoyed because after all, he got his kingship back. He became a king again. So he got stooped into enjoyment. Yes, and he forgot the very mission that he had committed. So similarly, dear Vaishnavas, this is something, a tendency which can come in us even after the commitment of initiation. It can happen. Because bhoga ishwarya prasaktanam taya apahata chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhau na vidiyate. The moment one is attached to this bhoga and aishwarya, what happens? The person will not get fixity. Samadhau na vidiyate. One will not be able to be fixed in his service, fixed in commitment to Guru, because this enjoyment is something. The enjoyment requires a lot of energy. You may think, enjoyment, I will get energy. No, it saps all your energy to serve. That's what happens when we enjoy. So what are the usual enjoyment? Prabhuji, we don't do all these loopholes. Then what? What are the ways in which devotees enjoy otherwise? So one tendency that can come, devotees, they say, Prabhuji, ISKCON mein aane ke baad, after coming to ISKCON, sleep is coming very nicely. Wonderful sleep we get. Previously, I had a lot of issues, insomnia. But now I get very, very wonderful sleep. How? Night time, I get 6 hours of rest. As soon as we wake up, we sit for japa, 2 hours of another rest. 1 hour of Bhagavatam class, good rest again. In case of ICC Bangalore, of course, you all don't sleep, but there's opportunity of 1.5 hours of rest. And after that wonderful prasad, then continue day rest. Right? So day rest also we get. Probably so much of sleep, so much of rest. That is something which we get. Sleep. So Srila Prabhupada was sleeping. Once Srila Prabhupada was in Australia, and Srila Prabhupada was sitting in his quarters, in his room. And Srila Prabhupada would always have a bell. He would ring a bell and the secretary would come. So Srila Prabhupada's personal servant, His Grace Shrutta Kirti Prabhu, had thought that, come on, it's been a long day, tiring. Let me just stretch my hands and legs and I'll just take a power nap. What nap? Power nap. To get energy to serve Prabhupada. To serve Prabhupada, I'll take a power nap. So he just lied down. He lied down and that was after prasadam. Yes, he just lied down, lied down, lied down. And suddenly, as he was lying down, some nice bell was ringing, ding, 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 ding. So he rushed and went. He washed his face, applied tilak, and ran. So Prabhupada was looking at him. He called, I am ringing for the last 1 hour. My God. Prabhupada, I traveled with you. I was taking rest. What are others doing? They are also taking rest. What is Swami doing? One Swami, I might not like to take his name. What is that Swami doing? He's also taking rest. He said, call everybody. So he just ran. Everyone woke up. Prabhus, Maharaj, get up, come. Prabhupada is calling. Prabhupada is calling. They were all happy in one sense. Prabhupada is calling. Prabhupada is calling. They were happy. They only little that they knew. Don't get so excited. You're going to get Guru Mahaprasad there. They were all very excited. They went inside the room. And Srila Prabhupada was furious. He said, rascals, you're all sleeping. You've dedicated your life to sleep. You've taken sannyas to sleep. Look at the karmis. how hard they're working for sex life. They're all working so hard. Learn from them. You're supposed to work harder for Krishna. You're sleeping. And Prabhupada literally thrashed them. And what did Srila Prabhupada left his important translation work? And what did he do? It was so amazing. Look at Prabhupada's compassion. He told the youngest brahmachari, who was clueless, he just joined. He was clueless what Prabhupada is thrashing me practically. He said, go, get a book. Yes, which book? Any book, get it. All my books have same potency. So he made him get a book. He made everyone sit and did book reading, and he was explaining so that the devotees don't sleep. Devotees don't sleep. So there is one thing that we may all enjoy, sleep, because we get that. Nidra Devi loves to associate with devotees. Yes, she's also Vaishnavi. She likes to associate. Association, no? So that is careful. We have to be careful. Another thing that devotees may enjoy is system overload. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. System is giving all indications, but a person may keep overloading. And result of that will be oversleeping naturally. So that is something that devotees may really enjoy. So initially, Srila Prabhupada, when the devotees were new devotees, Prabhupada said, you should eat so much that you walk like a duck. You know how a duck walks? Like that you're supposed to walk. That much you have to eat. Eat so that you walk like a duck, practically. So devotees started following the instruction perfectly. There used to be competition. How much sweet rice you're going to eat? Buckets of sweet rice. The devotees used to eat 6, 7 buckets. Of course, 7 feet tall, huge Vaishnavas, 6, 7 buckets. That much of sweet rice they used to drink. Yeah, competition. You next. Come on, bottoms up. That's what they used to do. And then Srila Prabhupada started observing. Of course, Srila Prabhupada encouraged. If you're Bhima Karma, then you can be Virkodara. Bhima Karma means you're doing Herculean tasks. You're distributing so many books for 10 hours, doing Sankirtan outside. Yes? Then there is no problem. You can eat as much as you want. If you do big activities, Herculean tasks, then you eat like Bhima. But if you're not doing that, then no. Yes, then Prabhupada said, now it is very important to take a class. Then he took a class. Vacho vegam manasakrodha vegam jiva vegam udaropasta vegam. So he said, he gave a class like that. So Srila Prabhupada also told, control this tendency. Now the most wonderful enjoyment that devotees have, enjoying, is prajalpa. Yes, this is one enjoyment which we relish. We think we are in Krishna conscious association, Prabhuji. What are we in? Krishna conscious association. With devotee only we are talking. We are spending time investing in relationship. But what can one end up doing? We can talk about mundane news matters, talk about politics, talk about pastimes of each other. How does your pastimes in past life before coming to bhakti? Please tell. Yes. First, they may ask, how did you come to Krishna consciousness? Then they may ask, okay, how were you before coming to Krishna consciousness? Somehow they are more relishable, those pastimes. Yeah. So your katha, my katha, no Krishna katha. So this is something that one may enjoy. Yes. These are all the enjoyment we may try to do. Bhukta bhoga parityakta drishta dochata nityasah na ishwarasya shubham datte sve mahimni stitasya. The Bhagavatam says, till the time this enjoyment mentality is not given up, we will not be able to attain self-realization. There's a practical shloka that comes in Kapila Dev section. We need to realize this very clearly, that enjoyment mentality is there cannot be seva vritti. There's bhoga vritti, there is no seva vritti. So the more, if you want to reduce this bhoga vritti, this enjoyment tendency, what we are supposed to do? We are supposed to increase our service, seva vritti. We need active engagements. So as per our nature, we have to take active engagement. The moment enjoyment is happening, which means we have time. If you're enjoying, that means what? We have time. Otherwise, when service comes, says, Prabhuji, sorry, Prabhuji, I really want to do, Prabhuji, no time, Prabhuji. But if you're enjoying, that means what? We have time. So, well, let's take a seva. Let's start up a service. Let's start a preaching program. Yes, let's invite devotees and have kirtan. Let's just take up a sankalp to go outside for that. How much time did I enjoy? Okay, that much time. Let me go and distribute 1 book, 2 books. Let me go out and do something for Prabhupada. Yes, that's how we practically take some commitment and give up this. And asankalpa jayet kama, the 7th canto Bhagavatam. In order to become civilized man, there are some instructions. Civilized human being you want to become, you have to give up anarthas. And the first anartha you have to give up is this kama, enjoyment. What is that? Asankalpat jayat kama. Take up a commitment to do some service practically and give up this particular kama. Yes. All right. Next tendency. So for the first one, what I told, first thing, loopholes. Loopholes. Second one, enjoyment. Okay. The third one, the third tendency we call is the Hiranyakashipu tendency, the Hiranyakashipu mentality. You see, Hiranyakashipu, Prabhuji, we are no way connected to Hiranyakashipu, but Hiranyakashipu means what? The mentality to control. To control. When Hiranyakashipu was feeling hot, what did he do? Hey, turn on AC? No. He just had to look up, twist his eyebrows. He just did that, and automatically Suryadev will cool down. Yes, good. When Hiranyakashipu wanted to dry his hair, what he would do? He would twist his eyebrows, Pavandev would come and dry up his hair. Hair dryer, he didn't need. When Hiranyakashipu wanted to enjoy rain dance, what did he do? He just did like this, Indra used to fall. It used to be too much, again he will twist. Oh, sorry, come. Good. That's how he would control the entire material nature. Yes, controlling mentality. Another example of controlling mentality we see in the Srimad-Bhagavatam is the Sindhu Sauvira Naresh Rahuguna. Yes. He was going for what? Now I'm giving example of a demon person and a pious person also. Rahugun, where he was going? From Sindhu Savira, he was going to Kapil Ashram. He was going to Kapil Ashram to hear sermons from Shastras. He was not going for a sightseeing. He was going for pilgrimage. But even in that pilgrimage, to attain self-realization, he was trying to be a very cruel taskmaster in order to control his subordinate, his servants. So that controllership mentality came out very roughly. Very roughly he was coming out. Bring that rod. Let me chastise him. Let me beat him up. That's the way to cure this animalistic person. Yes, so this mentality can come in all of us also. Yes, very much. Especially when we are awarded post and position. We are awarded post and position, then we have a tendency to control others. Control others. There was especially one very new devotee. I corrected him. He was so that new devotee would love to go and serve prasad, but which item he would serve? The limited item. Why? Because he loved to tell others second serving nahi hai. He loved to control that. Oh, only this much. No, no second serving. Hello, no. I said, hey, don't do like that. Yes, that is not something to enjoy the controllership, to control and enjoy. Even in service, this can come. Yes. Another thing that may come usually when we control. I was reading a beautiful article of His Holiness Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj about how even in leadership, the pitfalls of leadership. And one of the major pitfall is a leader becoming an exploiter. Leader is actually called a rakshak. Leader is a rakshak. Rakshak means what? A protector of a community. His goal is to protect the consciousness of a community, but a rakshak will turn into bhakshak if he doesn't control his anarthas. So that is the way in which the subtle lust takes up the consciousness, that a leader, instead of understanding that the subordinates are all Krishna's devotees, they are Krishna's parts and parcels, they are Guru's representatives, they belong to Srila Prabhupada, they may end up thinking they are all my people, mere log, my people, and then he may exploit them. Yes, a very young counselor, yes, very innocently called all his counsellors for counselor meeting, and today's counselor meeting theme will be Maha cleaning of my house. So today we'll have Maha cleaning of what? Of my house. Come, sir. So are you engaging them in Krishna's service, Prabhupada's service, or your own service? So this mentality is there prevalent to exploit from others, to become a bhakshak, to do shoshan, exploitation. We have to be very careful. On the other hand, let us look at a leader like Srila Prabhupada. Let's look at Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada had so much control over his disciples, just like we said, bell would ring, normally devotees would come. It's not that all were sleeping. That was the only episode where all were sleeping. Otherwise, somebody would immediately rush in and come. Before Prabhupada could keep the bell down, devotee would be inside offering obeisances. Straight Dandavat Pranam, surrender. And he would come. So that, like that, he had disciples. But what was Srila Prabhupada's attitude towards his disciples? How many of you read this book, Swamiji by Burijan Prabhu? Have you read? Please read the book. Wonderful book. So in that book starts with Brahmanand Prabhu remembering Srila Prabhupada's last days. Srila Prabhupada was practicing, there was no flesh. There was just skin and bone. Yes, it was like somebody has put this Fevicol of the skin on the bone. That was Srila Prabhupada. He was reduced to that and he was on his deathbed. And Brahmanand Prabhu had come from South Africa to meet Prabhupada in the last days to be with him. So, and those days, any Indian devotees, like foreign devotees used to come to India, they used to fall sick. Everybody falls sick, that by default. But Brahmanand Prabhu fell sick for almost a week. 1 week he was not there. And then after a week, Brahmanand was feeling somewhat able to, he was able to walk. So he came and he offered his obeisances to Prabhupada. And the first thing that Prabhupada asked, imagine Prabhupada is on deathbed, he's suffering so much. But he's asking Brahmananda, how are you feeling? Are you feeling all right? Is your health okay now? I heard you were sick. Are you taking proper care? Are you getting nice prasadam? Are devotees taking care of you? This is what was his attitude and mentality towards whom? Towards Brahmanand Prabhu. His great Shrutakirti Prabhu was his servant. One day he was so tired serving Prabhupada, he slept on the floor. Immediately Srila Prabhupada, of course, normally when somebody would sleep, Prabhupada would never wake him up. If Prabhupada wanted something in night, he would see the servant is sleeping, Prabhupada never woke. No, Prabhupada would never disturb a devotee sleeping in the night, even if he needed something the most. That's how Prabhupada was. And he saw Shrutakirti Prabhu sleeping on the ground. Immediately he called all devotees. He called the devotees who were awake. What happened to him? He's sleeping like this. He's not looking good. He said, he's sick, Prabhupada. Who's taking care of him? Tell him. Who's taking care of him? He asked. He appointed 3 sannyasis to take care of him. Now you leave up all your responsibilities, take care of this devotee. He's very important. He's given his life. He's serving. And first of all, don't put him on the floor. Give him a nice place to sleep. Somebody lift him, pick him, put him in place. And he was not unconscious. Later, when devotees told him, he was in tears. He was crying tears. Prabhupada loves me so much. This is what is the attitude that Srila Prabhupada had towards his disciples, towards his subordinates. Prabhupada never controlled his disciples. Prabhupada just loved his disciples. And seeing the love that Srila Prabhupada had, the disciples surrendered. And one of the glorious qualities of Srila Prabhupada is Srila Prabhupada never rubbed the past on the face of the devotees. Hey, you are all hippie fellows, having long hair. You see, I'm a sadhu, great person from India. He never ever quoted the past, never rubbing the past on the face. He would always know the devotees for their present. Even he would chastise a devotee, later on he would have a beaming smile. Everything was normal. That's how Srila Prabhupada dealt with the subordinates. You know how this name Prabhupada, just a side topic, how this Prabhupada name came? Anyone knows? Many of you know that. Anyway, so initially what happened was, Gurudas Prabhu was promoting Prabhupada's event. So he had written. So we will say that Swamiji has come. That time Prabhupada's face became grave. And Gurudas Prabhu thought, did I speak something wrong, Prabhupada? Please, Swamiji, did I say something wrong? What happened? Shouldn't we call you Swamiji? Prabhupada said, Swamiji is third class. My God. That's what we've been calling you all the while. Swamiji, Swamiji. Third class. Then what is second class? You wanted to know. What is second class? Second class is Guru Maharaj. Then said, what is first class? First class is Srila Prabhupada. And that's how all devotees started calling him Srila Prabhupada ki. Class is not over. Please. Devotees get up and go away for prasad. Please wait, I know. Yes? So Srila Prabhupada. That's first class. So devotees wanted to offer him the best. So how exactly do we get over this mentality of not being exploiters or controllership mentality? So personally, now I have been, although not qualified, appointed as a leader of a community, the Kharadi community, BYC. So His Grace Radheshampro appointed me. He's my Shiksha Guru and also my counselor. So whenever I would go to him, he would analyze 3 things. And he says, every leader, I analyze these 3 things. The first thing is, what is the quality of your book reading? What Shastras are you? I know you're reading for 7. He sees our scores. I know you're reading 7 to 10 hours a week. I know that, but what are you reading? What is your contemplation? What are you thinking about it? He's interested to know that. First thing. The second thing he's interested to know very much is Are you associating with your equal friends? Because these are the people who will bring you back to ground. You will not fly. Subordinates will, Prabhuji, you are sure, pure devotee, you are Shuddha Bhakt. They'll keep raising you. But the equals will, Prabhu, come back. Don't be in the sky. Come down. So they will keep you grounded. Are you associating with equals? And the third thing you would ask is, are you cleaning bathrooms and toilets? Menial services. Are you doing menial? Are you serving prasadam to Vaishnavas? Are you sweeping the floor? Are you doing these menial services? Very important. These three services. This is what I'm interested in. If you're doing this, a leader will be protected, he said. So every time before going to him, at least we ensure we are doing this. And then we go. It's very important that we do that. Right? Next. So we have seen three. The fourth one is the mentality of being a proprietor. A proprietor mentality. Once there was a black color BMW car parked. Yes, BMW, black color car. Exciting, interesting. And there were a group of boys who were playing cricket there. And they were playing cricket with the season ball. So one of the boy, he hit, tack, shot, cricket. And the ball straight away here went and hit the glass of the car. And tweet, 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 that sound started coming, right? The sound was coming. And this person came running. He saw the car. He had a mixed emotion. He was not knowing whether should I get angry or should I cry now first. Which one should I? Should I cry first or should I get angry? He was having mixed response. He was doing like that. Looking at those boys, what to do? And suddenly he looked at the number plate and he realized that is not his car. His car is parked just there beside. Nothing. He just walked away scot-free. Nothing else. We just went. Proprietorship. When even a scratch comes to your property, what happens? Oh, hot. My God, a scratch has come to your. How many of you remember the first scratch you got on your car? You never got scratch on your car. You're such safe drivers in Bangalore. I can't believe that. Either you don't remember or you don't want to tell. Yes, first scratch. Yes, we remember. How did we feel? My God, very bad. Very, very bad. Yes. Some people say, leave me alone. No, I don't want to. No, leave me alone. Don't talk to me. Nobody should talk. That's how we feel bad because we are so much connected and attached to our property. We associate so much with that. My car, my house, my people, my counselees. Hare Krishna. Getting deeper? Yes, that's why we are here for. Janasya mohoyam aham mameti. What happens with this? This kind of mentality, the more one possesses, yes, one increases one's illusion. The property around us, what is wrong with proprietorship mentality is the more one has property, the more one becomes illusioned away from Krishna. Deha patra kalatradishu atma sainyeshu asatsapi. Tesham pramatto nidhanam pashyan apina pashyati. A person who is surrounding oneself with all property. Yes, it may be things, it may be people, but we surround ourselves with that property. What happens is we start thinking these all things are enough to protect me. I don't need Krishna. This mentality comes in because we think these are my Atma Sena. These are my Atma Sena. But what will Atma Sena do when death comes? There's a famous typical example of Gajendra. He was a king of all the elephants, walking, and all animals were trembling in fear. His friends were celebrating. That's what was happening. He was walking with his wives, with his children, with his brothers, with his sisters, everybody, the whole entourage was walking behind him. But when he went inside and the crocodile caught him, who came to save him? Nobody. He had to remember something from past life. Evam vyavasito buddhya samadaya hrido mano hridi jajapya paramam japyam. What came to his rescue? Japyam, prag janmani anushishitam. So when nobody is there to save us from that imminent death, there's only one thing that's going to come to our rescue, and that is Japyam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram. And when did he remember this jap? When he gave up his proprietorship mentality. These are not my people. Had they been my people, they would have been with me. They are not with me. And some of them tried to catch his tail and try to pull it. Please come out, come out. What is the use of catching the tail when the entire elephant is down? Pooch pakad ke la rahe. Nonsense. That's what they were doing. And this is what will happen. Everyone around us, everything around us is helpless. Ultimately, this is the holy name. That's why what does Bhakti Vinod say? Bhakti Vinod Thakur say? Nama vina kichu nahi to aro chauda bhuvana maje. This is nothing but the holy name. Madhuram madhurebhyopi mangalebhyopi mangalam. In that particular song, Satyam Satyam Punah Satyam. Only the holy name. That is the only truth. So these positions make us feel we don't need Krishna, we don't need chanting, we don't need anything. We have all this. Yes. So there's a tendency. The moment I've seen in the students, I've been a youth preacher for a long time. I've seen in students, especially as soon as the salary package comes, all that humility. Prabhuji, Das Prabhuji, servant, why you call me Prabhuji? Call me Das. Everything is gone. Yes. Standing with cool shades becomes a hero. Why? Because position has come. But that too shall pass away. This knowledge we get in the Shastras. So I had gone to one of the Grihastha homes, house of a Grihastha. Usually everybody loves to put a big board outside their home, right? Mr. and Mrs. or Mrs. and Mr. I don't know which comes first. That's a debate. I'm not wanting to debate here or argue. Then Mr. and Mrs. so and so. Big, big bold letters. So everyone knows this house belongs to Mr. and Mrs. so and so. Maya Das, whatever. But in that home, when I went, they had a big board that written Gaura, Nitai, and then their names. So this house belongs to whom? Actually, Gaur Nitai. Why their names are written? So that the postman doesn't go away, turning his back. That's the only reason they've written their names. People should not go away. Gaur Nitai. Koi Gaur Nitai rehte yahan pe. Wo nahi rehte, chale jate. Let's go away. No, it's not like that. So how do we give up this practical mentality? I was reading, I normally have a habit of reading His Holiness Induduma Maharaj's Diary of a Traveling Monk. Beautiful books. He writes his preaching experiences, right? Traveling and preaching experience. So he had gone to the home of one of his Russian disciples, Mataji, her grace Ragaleka Mataji. It was a very, very small, she was a book distributor. Even in minus 25, minus 30 degrees, she would be out without a fail distributing Prabhupada books for 8 hours because that's the instruction she got. And she followed it even till the time she became 52. That's the time. She's 52 years old, but following that instruction. The last 19 years in that book, last 19 years, she was following that instruction. So Maharaj went and asked, so is this your house? She said, no, this is my Lala's house, her deity. I'm only a maid servant. So this is the way one gives up the proprietorship mentality by making the deities the center of our house, making the deities the center of our community, making the deities the center of our heart. And when we serve the deities, we realize that they are the proprietors, we are servants. That realization dawns in the heart. Yes, so that is the mentality of proprietor. So what all covered till now? Loopholes. Second, enjoyer mentality, controller mentality, proprietor mentality. Last, yes, I'll end the class in some time. Promise. I was given time till 10. What to do? Yes, I'll end the class time. So the last mentality which comes in, especially, may not be with all, but it is one of the pitfalls in bhakti, is I am a deliverer. I am a deliverer. इसको भक्ति में कौन लाया? हम लाए, पता है? I brought him to Krishna consciousness. You know, I made him to stand in Krishna consciousness. I made him to walk in Krishna consciousness. I made him to talk in Krishna consciousness. And then, have you heard these statements? No? A wonderful community. Yes, we've heard this. It is there. I brought him. Yes. So this tendency is there that I delivered him. That fellow was in Maya. I delivered him. This tendency can come in. So once there was His Grace Radheshampur quoted this example for me. There was a topper of university topper was there. And every other mentor was coming and telling, Prabhuji, you know who found this boy? I found him. I found this golden boy among that gold mine, which is pit of all dirt. I found this gold. Another mentor came and said, Prabhuji, you know who gave him the sessions? The Discover Yourself session? I gave the sessions. I gave him this Bhakti course, Bhagavad Gita course. Another came and told, you know, Prabhuji, who taught him to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra chanting? I taught him to chant. Hold beads and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You know, Prabhuji, who convinced him to come to this yatra? I convinced him. I got 4 mentors went and told. So Prabhuji was quite confused. Prabhuji said, let us get it from the horse's mouth. Let us ask him. Says, who inspired you? He said, Prabhupada's books and his life. Srila Prabhupada's books and his life inspired me to come here. So we can be under a very, very big misunderstanding by thinking ourselves as deliverers, uddharaka. So this is a mentality which can come. And all of us. If we were to ask Srila Prabhupada, is this your mission? What he would say? No. This is Lord Chaitanya's mission. And the reporter would, whoa, my God. Who is Lord Chaitanya? They had no idea who is Lord Chaitanya. Even the Indians have no idea who is Lord Chaitanya. Chaitanya will only find in Andhra Pradesh. I studied in mechanical engineering in NIT Trichy. In my class, there were 8 Chaitanyas. Chaitanya Ashtakam. And one fellow was too very long. TVSSLKM Chaitanya. Big 8 initials. My God. So Chaitanyas you find in AP or in engineering colleges. Mechanical engineering branch. So many Chaitanya. But I asked all of them, do you know who is Chaitanya? They said, me. Who else? The great. So no one has any clue who is Chaitanya. And his Prabhupada going to the West and telling that this is the mission of Lord Chaitanya. That is there. We want to know who you are. When you say who is Lord Chaitanya, who is Lord Chaitanya? So that is Prabhupada's conviction. This is the mission of Lord Chaitanya. He inaugurated the Sankirtan movement 500 years ago. He would say this. Or he would say this mission is mission of my spiritual master, my Guru Maharaj. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This is his mission, he would say. And even when it came to giving credit for the success of his mission, whom did he give? For 2 people. To his Guru, and he called his disciples as the representatives of my spiritual master. He never said, I am the one who delivered the world. Although we hear in Bhagavatam, there is that Srila Prabhupada is the person who took the Krishna Bhakti outside. Kirata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Shumma Yavana Khasadaya. Ye Necha Papaya the Pashraya Shraya Shuddhanti Tasmai Prabhavishnave Nama. Who fulfilled this prophecy? Who is the one? This prophecy was fulfilled by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Yes. Still class is not over. Last 2 lines. Right. So we may have a tendency that I am a counselor, I am a mentor, I am a well-wisher, I am a Shiksha Guru of this community. We may have. I am a great person. I brought so many people to Krishna consciousness. What do we do to rectify this? How do we understand we are only humble instruments? We invite others to come and give classes to our yatra. Please come, Prabhujis. I just came here 24 hours back, and I've already got many invitations. That shows that what a wonderful community is there at ICC South Bangalore. Very open community. Open to come and just share this knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Right? Please come to our Bhakti Vriksha. Please come to our class. So nice. That way they have absolutely no mentality of being a deliverer. Srila Prabhupada is a deliverer. Lord Chaitanya is a deliverer. Krishna is the deliverer. Holy Name is the deliverer. Bhagavatam is the deliverer. They are actually the Uddharakas. We are nothing but humble instruments. We realize this by getting other Vaishnavas to come and preach. By connecting our people to our superiors. By connecting our people to our temple. By connecting our people to our Guru. Yes, to the wonderful disciples of Srila Prabhupada. To connect everybody to Srila Prabhupada. That's what we do. We don't deliver. I'll end with this last example. Played basketball ever? Or seen basketball? Basketball. In basketball, it's not that the only one person has to dribble the ball, take the ball across the court and he scores a basket. No, there's a pass. So who are we? We are here to pass. Yes, pass to Shiksha Guru. Shiksha Guru passes to Temple President. Temple President passes to GBC. Guru. They give it to Prabhupada and finally Prabhupada scores the basket. Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Any dude would like to ask any question? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavats. Very nice class. Thank you so much. Prabhuji, earlier on in the class, you mentioned that a devotee's goal is to go back to Godhead. That's what Prabhupada said, mentioned. But Prabhupada himself, when asked, what are you going to do next, Prabhupada, after you leave this body, he said, I'll go to one of the hellish planets. So how to understand what Prabhupada did versus what he said?
Thank you, Prabhu. This is to understand the very deep mood of our entire preeminent Shiksha Guru. Very nice. So Srila Prabhupada said this particular shloka on the base, this particular word, on the basis of this shloka, Narayana parasarve na kutaschana bibhyati. Swarga apavarga narkeshu api tulyartha darshana. This is what Lord Shiva says to Mother Parvati about Chitraketu Maharaj. Narayana parasarve, one who is dedicated to Narayan, na kutaschana bibhyati. He is not afraid to be anywhere. He is not afraid to go anywhere. And that's what Abhay Charanaravinda, fearless Srila Prabhupada said, I can go to hell and deliver the hellish planets, which Srila Prabhupada is more than capable of. But in my case, if I reach back safely, he'll be happy with me. I'm not at that stature. So I'm aspiring for the ticket back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada is distributing the tickets. That's a huge difference. So this is spoken out of supreme compassion of a Vaishnava. Vaishnava's 26 qualities. Kripala Kritadoha Satya Sarasama. The first quality of Vaishnava is Kripalu. He's very merciful. So that is what Srila Prabhupada is showing, that he's not wanting to leave this material world, but he wants to actually deliver. So that is the mood that Srila Prabhupada is having. But expectation from what Srila Prabhupada had from all of us is, you all please come back safely. Don't try this at home. Don't try this. Tricks are performed by expert masters. Do not try this at home. Please come back home, back to God, and then you try whatever you want. Srila Prabhupada, he said, all of us, make it back in this one lifetime. That was his expectation for us.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Regarding the loopholes, so being grihasthas, so like it is part of the life that like maybe like to know the news, what is happening surroundings, or even we are in the working in the company, so they might take us to somewhere, restaurants somewhere, where they say like team build up. So there like we have to take some curd rice or something where this no onion, no garlic thing. So how to like we cannot avoid at least feel, because we have to be like others have to think that we are part of the team and we have to do. So whenever guest comes like non-devotees, like because of relationship, so we have to serve them in the different way, like eating the sweet, this kind of thing. Or even for devotees when they come, like sharing of the sweets or something. So how to like whether is it okay to do it or it is not okay at all? And most of the times, like I see that I want to know like what's happening around the world, like see the news, but I get absorbed in that. So how to come out of?
That is the nature of Vishaya. First, two questions were there. One was about the news. Another one was about the standards, or rather dealing, worldly, loka sangraha, the worldly dealings. So when first speaking about the news, knowing things around us, what is happening, that is called Vishaya. And Vishaya has a tendency to absorb you. That's called Vishaya Abhinivesh. And that usually happens when our absorption is not sufficient in Shastras. There's a tendency. We don't absorb in Shastras. We get easily absorbed by Vishaya. So being a Grihastha, a worldly man, going to company, it is important to know what's happening around the world. So there are some of the apps nowadays, you all must be knowing, which give you short news. What is needed, the crux. We need not do PhD in every news, right? We need not do that PhD. And if we have a tendency to absorb in Bhagavatam, which you beautifully have, you're making wonderful notes, I've been seeing you very sincerely hearing. So if this is continued, the tendency to absorb there in matter would be gone. Yes? So we need to ensure that we are first absorbed here. Mam Anusmara Yuddhacha. So that Yuddha may require absorbing news, but have we done Mam Anusmara? That part is very important. Yes? You take Chavanpras, then go out. Right? To be protected from all the diseases which is around. So that is very important. We first taken. So that was the first aspect. Speaking about the second aspect of eating. Now we all need to understand very clearly what we are doing, why we are doing, why we do what we do. So now our goal is what? Because once what happened, there was a newspaper reporter who had come to Srila Prabhupada. And this newspaper reporter asked Srila Prabhupada, what is this Hare Krishna movement? And Srila Prabhupada said that, yes, this Hare Krishna movement was started by Lord Chaitanya 500 years back. Head was spinning, my God, completely spinning. I'll ask easy question. How to know somebody is a part of this Hare Krishna movement? And Srila Prabhupada said he'll be a perfect, gentle man. Yes, perfect, gentle man. So that is about the representation aspect. Two things are there. Whenever we deal with worldly people, we should represent Krishna consciousness and we should present Krishna consciousness. Yes. Only when we first represent Krishna consciousness nicely can we actually present Krishna consciousness. So now your aspect was asking about representation. We should not think that devotees are, outcast. Devotees are people who are in their own world. They only do Krishna Rama. Then they will never become a devotee. But do we have an aspiration to make them devotees? Yes. Certainly, what I would do, I would say, and whatever you wish to follow, you can discuss with your seniors or grihasthas who lead a practical life, because I have also been in my working phase. So I went ahead and I said, yes, I feel very much a part of this team. I love this team very much. And I would like to come with all of you for the team lunch, definitely. But I would like to bring something from my home for all of you to eat. But I clearly mentioned that I have a particular practice that I only eat Krishna Prasad. But I'll definitely join you. I'll join you. And I will give you. So I served everyone prasadam. And I did join. And people nowadays, the world is quite an open world. They respect your values. And somebody knows, oh, ISKCON devotee, Hare Krishna devotee, oh, they are principled people. They don't eat anywhere outside here, train, flight, nothing. So they know that once they will respect. That happens. So there is absolutely no harm in clarifying. Yes, that is one thing. And if you can make it Krishna consciousness, please call them here also. Sometimes let's go out. But we can bring the team here as well for prasadam, for association. That way we clarify our values very nicely. And but yes, if actually really pushed to the limit, we can take fruits, etc., by offering in mind. We may do that. But actually, it's very important for all of us to preserve our purity. Ahara shuddho sattva shuddha. Sattva shuddha dhruva smriti. Smriti labde sarva grantinam vipramoksha. What we eat is what makes our consciousness. It affects our japa immediately. So now that you have to decide. The principle is we want to maintain relationship. At the same time, we want to represent Krishna consciousness properly. So that you have to take care. You have to understand your team, their mentality also. Accordingly, you need to play.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. You are mentioning about Bhagavati and Sevavratti. So in devotional service also, if we are, for example, if we are eating too much of prasadam or more opulent prasadam, is it Bhagavati or Sevavratti?
What do you think?
Looks like Bhagavati.
Yes,
But
it is. Because it comes under the opulent prasadam comes under Jiva Vegam. Loading the stomach comes under Udara Vegam.
But it's prasadam, right?
Yeah, very true. Very true. Definitely, it is prasadam. Prasadam does purify. But what is our mentality towards prasadam? Are we seeing it? My God, this is Adharamrit. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a chapter called Adharamrit. The wonderful nectar dripping from Krishna's lips. Are we seeing it in that consciousness? If you have it, then fine, no problem. We can take Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once was bought Chappan Bhog of Jagannath. He ate it all because he was seeing it as Adharamrita. So do we have that consciousness? We need to check. If we have that, we can definitely honor it. But still, we need to understand that Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam Taya Apahrita Chetasam. We do Jiva Vegam, the tendency will become Udara Vegam. Udara Vegam, then the tongue, belly, genitals are on the same line. That will be agitated. And that can disturb our Krishna consciousness.
So one more question, Prabhu. Like we have been in this material world since time immemorial. So that Bhogavrati is very, very strong inside.
Very
so
true.
how to convert this Bhogavrati to Sevavrati?
Yes. That's what we are all struggling to do. Yes, since time immemorial, we have got heaps and heaps of Bhogavritti. Each life we have taken, we have only increased Bhogavritti. Very true, Prabhu. But Seva, Bhakti, as Prabhupada translated bhakti as devotional service, is really very powerful. It's very powerful. And if it is done with intensity, it can completely remove out all this bhagavad. Anartha upashamam sakshat bhakti yogam adokshaji. So bhakti has that potency to completely wash away. It has completely tendency to wash away the bhagavad. Another important way to wash away the bhagavad is to by hearing Srimad-Bhagavatam. It is pravishta karna randrena swanam bhava saroru. Dunoti shamalam Krishna. Dunoti shamalam. What is this mala? That's the bhagavad. It washes. You have to hear Bhagavatam intensely. And one who hears Bhagavatam intensively, what happens is the Bhogavritti is washed and Seva Vritti is awakened. Beautiful. And one really springs to service. It happens. Because Bhagavatam is a very practical literature which will make you, inspire you to spring into action. It happens.
One more last question. Like this Seva Vritti, do we need to deliberately practice to develop that, or by chanting and hearing process, it automatically gets
Yes.
developed?
Chanting and hearing, there are two things. What has happened to us, as you rightly said, I remembered an example. As you rightly said, that we have spent so many millions of births in this material world, and Bhogavritti is become quite a lot. So owing to that, our bhakti has gone very, very, it's somewhere there. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunoi. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitta Koriyodai. It is correct. You just do the Shravan and Kirtan, the Krishna Bhakti and the Seva Vritti will come. But now what has happened is, how many of you operated hand pump? Hand pump? Yes. We all have operated the hand pump. Yes. Hand pump like this, and you withdraw the water. But many a times where the water table is very low, then no matter how much ever pressure you apply here, the water is not going to come out. So that is when we have to do one aspect. What is that? Priming. You have to put some water externally inside so that priming will help for the water which is beneath to come out. So Shravan and Kirtan is like the pumping. But voluntarily taking up some service and going ahead for it is like the priming. So we will need the priming in order for our pumping to work, to bring out the Seva. Is it okay, Prabhu?
Harishna, thank you very much for giving us a wonderful class. So one question regarding this mentality. So especially in the family we are discussing, in the joint family, like people are more, and everybody will have their own kind of mentality. Means their kind of emotions and bhava and all. But if you want to bring everybody under one, as a Krishna as a center in the family, especially in the family, so what is that your advice regarding that?
Surely. His question, I'll repeat if those. How many of you heard his question? Was clear? Yes. So his question was, if we are living in a joint family setup, then everybody has their own ways and methods. Now I have fortunately joined ISKCON and come in association of devotees. But what about others? How to make them also devotees? So first thing that we should not do is to impose Krishna consciousness on them. We never do that because they know all our pastimes in the past. So it will not be easy for them to accept if we directly impose, hey, you all should become devotees. Otherwise, you're all going to hell. We don't do that. Huh? Going to hell? We know what you all have done in the past. So they know everything. So we don't impose directly. Rather, we have to try to inspire. And another thing, because they know us from the day one, it is very hard for them to accept us as Shiksha Guru or a teacher, and they will not hear instruction from us. So wonderful way to get them also into Krishna consciousness is to bring them. Just come for prasad, come for dancing. I don't know. I don't think people will disagree for this. Just come for darshan of beautiful deities of Shri Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Sudarshan. Just come for this. And then we can, if they are not going, no, we will not come. Then fine, let us get some wonderful devotees. We have wonderful sadhus here. His Grace Swayam Prakash Prabhu. His Grace Suvarna Gaur Hari Prabhu. His Grace, I think there is Shanti Krishna Prabhu. Like that, many brahmachari sadhus are there. People respect this color somehow. I have understood this. Get sadhus. There are many senior Vaishnavas in this community. Grace Narahari Chaitanya Prabhu. So we have very, very deep realizations. So we could take these senior devotees to home, invite them, and make them give a program, just an invitation on some of the birthdays of somebody. Yes, on your birthday probably. This is how I would like to celebrate birthday. So let us have the sadhus coming. Let's have kirtan. Let them speak something. And some or the other, if the relatives develop some friendship with sadhu, that's it. What does Kapil Dev tell to Devhuti mother? Mother Devhuti? Prasangam majaram pasham atmani kavayo vidu saeva sadhu shukrito moksha dwaram apavratam. So your doors of liberation for your entire house will be opened. If some or the other they get attracted to what? The sadhus. Even Narada boy in the first canto, 5th chapter, he says the personality of this Bhakti Vedantas became very attractive to me. He was attracted to the personality. I was reading Adhyatma Ramayana. So in that, there is a story of Rama Nama Mahima. So in that, Valmiki, who was initially Daku Ratnakar or Valyakoda, somebody says, he was attracted to the sages' personality. He was actually a robber. He wanted to rob the sages. Of course, what will sages give? Some Gopi Chandan, bead bag. But he wanted to rob them. So he went ahead, but he got, my God, what an effulgence. He liked their personality, and thus he was inspired to hear from them. And thus his heart got transformed. So some or the other, if this your family members get attached to the personality of your of the devotees here, they will be very, very inspired. That is their beginning of the end of their material life. Beginning of the end of material life. That's what will happen. Okay.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Let us express our great gratitude and thank His Grace Sanatana Dharma Prabhu for such wonderful class by chanting Hare Krishna mantra once. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Many of you might have seen him in the CD Baat Krishna, Proji Ke Saath. So every week he gives on different topics in Hare Krishna TV. Nevertheless, Sanatana Dharma Prabhu has done his engineering from NIT Trichy. And after passing out, he was working with the Tata Motors and he was as a manager. And his throughout his Krishna has given him multi-talents. He's a very good musician. So he you heard his nice kirtan and very good narrator as well as presenter, as well as he's a very good dramatist also. In their batch when they joined the ashram, they himself as well as and Vanmali going through, they both in any camp or anything, they both were to be chosen for some skit learning from some skits. So that way. So however, at the same time, he is very much attached for Srimad-Bhagavatam. Before completing his engineering, he had completed the whole Srimad-Bhagavatam. And when he came to, he was just leaving the voice. He went in front of Prabhupada and he said, Prabhupada, in one year, I want to complete Chaitanya Charitamrita. And just in the first year of his work, he completed the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And one thing he is very much, I have observed him since the time in the ashram, is that every day practically takes out somehow or the other Hare Krishna. Seeing that he'll be able to take care of more and more devotees, Raishampru gave him the service of taking care of the Karadi project in Pune. Now he's from past almost when the COVID started, a little before that it started, and now it is really thriving center. And they have more and more devotees coming, and he is very creative also in creating more and more services as well as the preaching opportunities. So we are very fortunate to have him. Above all, he is a very good sadhaka. That's what is very inspiring to most of the devotees. So let us thank him and again pray that again he he has many devotees. He came here mainly to meet most of the devotees whom he is cultivating there here in ICC as well as Bangalore. So because of them, hope and pray will get again his association. Let us thank him again once by chanting Hare Krishna mantra once. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. So thank you very much. And again, now we have some of the last week we distributed the prize for some of the children, and few of them could not come. Some 3-4 of them have come. We'll just give them the prizes for the Ram Navami contest, and followed by there'll be a small announcement regarding the yoga classes, which will be starting from tomorrow. Then we'll have the Jagannatha Ashtakam, followed by the Aarti and Prasadam. Bhavyashri, Bhavyashri, is she there? Padmini has got second prize in the senior birthday card making.